Sunnahfollowers, protectors of the Sunnah, Sunnahfollowers, protectors of the Sunnah.
Inna alhamdulillah wa salat wa salam ala wa rasulullah. Welcome to another session of our Hadith class. And we are studying the Hadith from the book entitled 55 Hadith on Islamic Behavior and Discipline. And let's put the Hadith up for discussion tonight. And the source of this Hadith is Sahih Muslim. The source of this Hadith, again, is Sahih Muslim. And for those of you who have not yet purchased your book, make sure that you go to www.atleonline.com and pick up a copy of this book and also the other books that we are using for our website. And this hadith has to do with evil. And it's narrated to us by Abu Sa'id al-Khudri. Abu Sa'id al-Khudri said, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whoever is among you and sees an evil, he must change it with his hand. If he is unable to do that, then he should try to change it with his tongue. And if he is unable to do that, then he should hate it in his heart, because hating it in his heart is the weakest form of faith. And what this hadith is teaching us is that we're not just supposed to sit there and watch something bad take place. If we can stop it from happening, then we have to do so. If we can stop it physically, then we do it physically. But if you can't stop it physically, then use your tongue by speaking out against it. For example, you see a little boy running across the street. You see a car coming to hit him. He's too far out in the street for you to stop him. So you can't do anything physically, but I can yell to get his attention. So you say, hey, stop. Hey, stop. Look behind you. Look behind you. Okay, so that's what's meant by that. And if you can't even yell, like say, for example, you try to yell, but the kid can't hear you, then you hate it in your heart. You hate what had to have happened in your heart, okay? So this is a hadith that we hear a lot. As Muslims, we're not supposed to just sit back and watch bad things happen. We're supposed to try to stop it. If we can't stop it with our hand, then with our tongue. And if we can't do either one of those, then by hating the fact that it did happen. So this hadith brings a lot of lessons for us to learn, which is number one, changing evil. It occurs on different levels based on your ability. And also we learned that we are obligated as Muslims to address evil. None of us are exempt from this. And when it comes to changing evil with words, we have to use evidence. And that evidence is defined by the Quran and the authentic hadith. And to not hate the fact that something bad is happening is a sign that perhaps that person doesn't really believe in Allah. So now that we've broken this hadith down and explained its meaning to you, how does it impact you in your journey of life? Anyone who would like to start us off, go ahead, Sabrina.
When most people have been forced to deal with in everyday life, for most of my life. And that is a very good thing. If you can't, stop it with your hand, then at least speak out against it. Speak out against it, write against it, do whatever you can to change it in a manner that is productive. It doesn't mean that I have to go and pick up a weapon or something. It means that there are many ways that I can deal with this, hopefully. And if I can't do it anyway, I still could hate it within my heart. But that being the weakest part of this faith, it still would trouble me. It would trouble me. And it would be hard for me to live with it, knowing that it's going on right there. And I don't do anything, or I don't think anything against it. That's it.
Exactly, guys. How could we live with ourselves? You're sitting there witnessing evil take place and you're doing nothing to try to stop it. I mean, I think about a lot. In fact, I was just thinking yesterday when they had that big event here in America, 9/11, when those ignorant terroristic men, I'm not even going to give them the name Muslim because that's just a name. Muslimist behavior, actions. When they ran those two planes into the towers, I was thinking, what would have been my reaction if I were on the plane? I'm gonna be honest. There were 6 of them, and there were 200 passengers. I don't think I would, and all the men had were box cutters. I mean, they didn't have guns. They didn't have knives. Not saying that box cutters are not dangerous. They had box cutters. I can almost 100% say that there is no way I would have sat and did what they told me to do and let them fly that plane. I just know me. I would have said, it's 200 of us and it's 6 of these degenerate dogs and they don't have bullets. Let's tackle them. And I could see me leading the jump, using my hands, my teeth. If I'm gonna die, I'm gonna go down, fight. But to be sitting there, doing nothing, that's not me. I just, and I've always thought about that. They claim the one plane that went down in Pennsylvania, they claim that the people fought back. I would like to believe that because couldn't those 6 stupid, and these were stupid looking men, they were short and dumpy. I mean, they were short and dumpy foreign men. They weren't tall, they weren't big brawn, they were four-eyed, dumpy, ugly, skinny, short men with a box cutter. I'm sorry. If I get cut by the box cutter, I'm skinny. It takes a while to die. We going down. I'm sorry. I just couldn't have sat there. I can see me organizing a bunch of people. I'd say it's 200 against 6. Let's fight to the death. Guard the captain so he don't take this plane down. And if it's somebody in there with him, we gonna double team that bastard. I could just see me. I just couldn't sit there and let that happen. Yes, anyone else? Go ahead, Brother Terry.
Yeah, this is a great reminder for us because there are so many people nowadays who lack in their behavior, and people who let evil surround them, or they surround themselves with the evil, and they make excuses for themselves instead of taking the chance to change their conditions. And a lot of people, when they do try to change, they don't evaluate the situation correctly, or they don't try to ask themselves, is this something that I'm qualified to do? Can I actually step up and make the changes necessary? And a lot of people make situations worse as well.
This is a good point, especially with dawah. Like I was teaching you guys in an earlier class, there's a lot of messengers. There's a lot of messengers of the people out there. But like I told you, the difference between a messenger of Allah and a messenger of the people is the messengers amongst the people choose themselves to be messengers. They're not chosen by Allah. They're not chosen by a prophet. So you don't know if the message they're coming with is correct or not. You don't know if they have the knowledge, the understanding, the characteristics needed to convey the message. Because as I taught you in the class today, there are certain characteristics you have to have to be a messenger. Number one, you can't be weak. You got to be strong. Number two, you can't care about people. If you care about the people and take that what they say over a law, then you will never make it in this field. You have to put a law first and foremost and not care about what the people think or what the people say or what the people claim they're going to do to you. That doesn't mean that we don't have compassion for others. But do I really care? I mean, come on. No, I care about what a law says, what a law thinks. I have compassion for you. But like we talked about today, like Allah told the Prophet Muhammad, your job is just to convey. If they choose to walk over that and not accept it, then you leave them be. I'm doing my job. I'm conveying. Whether you want to hear it, whether you like to hear it, that's your problem. But I'm conveying because this is something Allah commands me to do. A lot of people today convey the message, but it's not conveyed the correct way, or they're not conveying the correct information. They don't have the character. They don't have the personality. They're too concerned with money, too concerned with how many followers they have. They're too concerned with fame. You have to have an I could care less about what you think attitude. It's all about what Allah thinks. Otherwise, you're going to cause more harm than good. Okay, go ahead, Sister Umi Beryl.
Alaikum. I just wanted to contribute to that. Nowadays, what we see is that people will, I don't know, it's like a confusion, like what is being confident and what is being horrible. Like you can be compassionate, you can be everything, but choose to stand up for justice. Like when you see something wrong, no matter how much or little you think of yourself, the first thing you should do is stand up. But what I see like happening even amongst Muslims is that they rather sit and suck up to people who do wrong to people, and they will agree with that person just because they don't want that, maybe that person have a holding a high authority position or whatever. They just don't want that person to turn on them to the point they're willing to sit and take the wrong being done to other people. That is horrible itself. You can be somebody who's compassionate and kind and all that, but subhanAllah, stand up for justice. Being horrible and being just is two different things. But what I see lately is just too horrible. If I cannot change anything, and I know I cannot change, I'll just leave that side, period. But one thing I cannot hold is sitting and letting people, bashing people, doing wrong to people. Oh no, that's something I just cannot watch. I rather fight. And what you were saying for the terrorists, I used to wonder, how can the whole plane people are not fighting? If it were me, I'll get up. Either you kill me, anyway, you're gonna kill me. You plan to throw that plane somewhere. You're gonna pass by my body first before everybody else die. We need to choose to stand up for justice no matter who you are. Be you a Muslim, be you a Dai, be you a, whatever you call yourself, people should be right. If you're not right, the people who love you should step up and say, brother, do this and this, sister, do this and this. But if we choose to just close our mouth, not doing nothing, just because we don't want to have issues with that person or anything, we're not helping that person. We're making that person a horrible person. We're making them something they're not supposed to be. So that's just what I wanted to say, because I have seen it going around like it's just too much to the point that you choose to stay by yourself. You don't want to associate with no one. You don't want to cause problem, and you don't want to sit down not saying nothing. To me, it's just unjust. Sorry.
That's the whole point. People don't have the characteristics because they're too concerned with the people. Then, like she said, this is a big problem. A lot of these messengers of the people are the big, you guys, if you guys Google these men, they got all kind of stuff going on, from rape to sex out of wedlock, stealing, lying, cheating. But instead of the people that they are with making these men stand and be held accountable, they're not speaking out against them. They're sitting there supporting them. And that's why Allah says in the Quran, which is another hadith that we're going to discuss, a believer doesn't sit in the company of those who do wrong. If you know somebody is a horrible person, you shouldn't be around them. I'm not going to bring no horrible people to my website just because he got some 1 million followers. When I know this dude is a rapist, I know this dude is an innovator, I know this dude doesn't understand the basics. And that's in our personal lives too. Why would you want to sit in the company of people who do wrong? You know, this is a major sin in Islam. If somebody is known for doing wrong and you're sitting in his company and not speaking out, you're just as bad as that person, which is a different hadith. This is saying seeing it and not trying to stop it. The sit in the person's company, that's a different sin. That's a whole nother sin, you know, but this, like she said, this is happening. You're going to still have these online institutes with these men on your staff who have been accused and have been proven to be guilty of inappropriate behavior. And these men call themselves daya, and no, they don't call themselves daya. I use that term. They call themselves sheikh and scholars. But you don't want to take them off your board. You don't want to take them off your online nothing school because of their 5 million followers and how the people like to listen to them. You know, that's a different topic, but that's a big problem here. The true believer ain't gonna have nothing to do with you, especially in that position. So when you take on positions of authority and power, such as imam or a teacher, a scholar, you know, a daya, a caller, and the people you're proven of bad, inappropriate behavior, the prophet would demand that you step down and never hold that position again. Because to have a position of a power and authority, this is an amana, a trust between you and Allah. And the prophet said, if a person is found guilty of stuff like that, we're not the same as regular people. Like if you guys find me guilty of oppressing people, abusing people, lying, stealing, or rape or whatever, I could never hold this position of teaching again. The prophet would say, Layla Nashiba, you're never going to be able to portray the people again. You have to step down. And that's what the prophet and the companions did. That's what Abu Bakr did. That's what Umar, Uthman, Ali made the people do when they were. Why do you think Uthman got rid of Amir el-As? He relieved him of as governor because some of the allegations against him were true. But this is not happening today. This is a different hadith, but we can talk about it. That's not happening. You're sitting around supporting them people because you want something from them too. You're just as crooked, corrupt, horrible, and bad as they are. And that's another hadith. We're going to get to that hadith in a couple of days. But for this hadith, this one is speaking about you see something wrong happening and you have the capability to stop it, to change it. But instead of you trying to stop it or change it, you do nothing at all. This is a big difference. I can stop that little boy from running across the street, but I don't care. I have no compassion. I have no heart. I don't care what happens to him or anyone else. Let him run across the street and kill himself. That's what this hadith is talking about. Anybody else would like to share? How does it impact you in your journey? Anyone else? If we can stop something bad from happening, stop it. Speak out against it. Try to prevent it. Like Sabrine said, write letters. A lot of people that live in the Muslim countries are not in a position where they can change the evil that's going on in their countries, because you take a country like Egypt, which is where my father was from. There's a lot of social turmoil and political turmoil going on in Egypt right now. but the people can't speak out against it because there's no freedom of speech. Okay? But what they can do, and what some people are doing, is writing, sending anonymous emails, sending anonymous letters to certain officials, telling them that this is wrong, sending anonymous letters. That's one way of trying to change it. Okay? But to sit back and be like some of those Egyptian people, just in your own world, not caring, not doing anything. Ibn Masud referred to these people as being the living dead, the walking dead. You see the social unrest going on. You see the destruction of your society. You see the wrong that your government is doing, and you're just like, well, I don't care. It's all about myself, myself, myself. That's what's going to lead to our destruction. And by the way, that's what's going to take down the Arabic nation completely with the Gog and the Magog, because that's the attitude that the Arabic world is going to take, where it's myself, myself, myself. Okay, I want to thank everybody for joining and participating in this session of our Hadith class. Remember, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, if you see an evil and you are able to change it with your hand, then do so. But if you're unable to change it physically, then do so with your tongue by speaking out. And if you can't do neither one of those things, then at least hate it and make dua against it. That's better than sitting up saying, myself, myself, myself. All right, I want to thank everybody for joining and participating. Don't forget that Dr. Assam will be here tomorrow. Can't believe it's the weekend already. We have Dr. Assam tomorrow and Saturday. Tomorrow, Dr. Assam will be doing the Purification of the Soul series. This is an interactive class with Dr. Assam, myself, and Dr. Muhammad Fatehi. Inshallah, if he can join us. He's been joining us at a different time zone. He's in Saudi Arabia. But inshallah, it'll be myself, Dr. Assam, and Dr. Muhammad Fatehi at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll be speaking about Islam, how the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his companions and what how their struggles impact us here today. Please be here for that at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Plus, we have my class at 6 on the prophets and messengers. And then we have this class tomorrow night. And on Saturday, don't forget, it's Quran Tajweed with Dr. Assam. And this Quran Tajweed class on Saturday is different. Dr. Assam is allowing everybody, beginner and intermediate and advanced, whether you can read or whether you're memorizing. He will be over them people on Saturday. He will have all of us, including myself, reciting the 4 Quls and the Fatiha, because we need to know the Fatiha in order to pray. And then he's going to start dividing people into groups. And I believe Dr. Assam is going to take over teaching beginners Quran Tajweed. Since Dr. Saeed hasn't been here because he's so busy, Dr. Assam is going to take over teaching beginners Quran Tajweed, as well as doing his intermediate class. All right, so make sure you guys are here for the classes we have this weekend, and make sure you check our schedule. Make sure you go to www.sunnahfollowers.net, make a donation, and check out the classes that we have, because we have a lot of new classes we've added. All right, so I'm closing out for tonight. Feel free to join us in Zoom. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.